Qualities are different than tactics. Qualities cannot be played. They give the actor little to do physically, and they don't focus on the other person. They lead to what we call mugging and indicating, and I'll get to mugging and indicating in a moment, but I want to talk about why you can't play. First of all, what is quality and why you can't play them. So remember that I said a tactic had to be an active verb, to blank. So to charm, to beg, to investigate. You're doing something. It's an action word. You're not being something. Qualities are to be. To be angry, to be happy, to be sad. These are not things that we go about in life trying to be. We don't try to be angry. We don't wake up in the morning and say, I think I'll be angry. We are simply pursuing a goal. We're trying to get something that is important to us. The stakes are high and things are getting in the way. So we have obstacles and we have things to overcome. And as we encounter those obstacles, we get frustrated and we get upset and we might feel angry or like we might feel sad about something that comes up. But those things are a byproduct or side effect of action. It comes from pursuing the goal that we're trying to get and then trying to overcome the obstacles that naturally come up. Now, a good playwright puts a lot of obstacles in the character's way. When we try to play emotions, to be sad, to be angry, to be happy, we start mugging, which means making faces and showing the audience. Indicating is showing the audience how the character is feeling. What you want to do is just play the action and then allow the feeling to come up. It's one reason we train our bodies and our minds to do that as actors. Because otherwise, untrained actors, what they do is they decide how the character is feeling, and then they attempt to kind of show that. They make a face, and they mug, and they pretend to feel a certain way, rather than just pursuing their action. So some qualities, things like to be angry, to be happy, to be sad, to be crazy, that's a big one. You might read a script and say, this character's crazy, and you could be right, but you can't play to be crazy. You have to pursue an action that maybe doesn't make a lot of logical sense. And then you will seem like you are crazy. To be drunk. How in the world do you play to be drunk? Right? That's a very difficult one. And often that is a physical state that the character is in. The scene may say, this person has had 4 glasses of wine before they sit down at the table. But you don't want to play to be drunk. So you have to approach it differently. You can approach it physically, thinking about, what has happened. You can approach it even physically. Actors have tricks sometimes. They'll spin around in circles and then sit down and play the scene, and their equilibrium and their balance is off. So that might affect things. But you don't want to play, I'm really drunk right now, because that will seem false to the audience. To be mean, to be exhausted, these physical states that you have to get it in a different way, but you can't simply go straight to them. The given circumstances are the circumstances which surround the character and affect his or her physical and emotional world. And those can be anything from, we'll get to what they are in a second, but they're established or given by the playwright. That's the person giving the given circumstances. And to some degree, the given circumstances are also established by the director. So the playwright might say, this is Thebes, we're in ancient Greece, and the director might come in and say, this is Thebes, but it's not going to be ancient Greece, it's going to be 21st century in Wisconsin, Thebes, Wisconsin. And that's a new given circumstance for the actors, and it's different than what the playwright has given. The actor will often have to fill in large gaps as the playwright and director won't provide all the details. For example, how many children did Lady Macbeth have in the play Macbeth? It's never established. The playwright does Shakespeare. This is a Shakespeare play. Shakespeare does tell us that Lady Macbeth had children, and there's really only one line in the play where the children are referred to, had at least a child, but we don't know how many children Lady Macbeth had. We don't know what happened to them. They don't seem to be there now. So presumably the child died at some point. Maybe that's part of her problem in that play, is that she's upset about that. But that's something for the director and the actors to decide. And you look at the script, but sometimes you have to fill in a lot of gaps. So some examples of given circumstances. Maybe the play takes place in New York City or rural France. What's the time period? 1907, 2012, 2008. When are we here? The character's position in society. Are they a shopkeeper, a shopkeeper, a king, or a peasant? Those are all different levels of society in the play. And that will cause the character to behave differently depending on their circumstance and what's expected of a person in those circumstances during that time and in that place. You have other given circumstances. Maybe before the scene occurs, before the play starts, there's just been a tornado. It's caused a lot of destruction, or the character's child has died, or the character has found evidence that his or her spouse is having an affair. And all of those things are going to affect the way you play the scene. Now, often we break the actor into two types of acting here, the chameleon actor and the personality actor. A chameleon actor changes very easily, can play lots of different things, looks different. If you think of a chameleon, they kind of morph and change their spots and blend in with their environment. So a chameleon actor can be very physical, can often look very different from role to role. Through makeup, through the way they hold their body. Maybe they gain or lose weight for roles. Maybe they change physically in some other way. But they're known for disappearing inside the character. The personality actor, on the other hand, is an actor who comes to prominence usually because they're good at playing a version of themselves. And they may be very good at this. Arnold Schwarzenegger always comes to mind for me for a personality. Quite good at what he does, but very limited. He has a limited range there as an actor. But in the range that he's in, he can be, funny. He can be an action hero. I don't know how good he would be at playing a drama. But that's just me. Maybe you've seen a drama that he's in and he was terrific. Personality actors often will strive to become more of a chameleon actor. Especially as they get older, as they grow, it's harder to be a chameleon than it is to be a personality actor. I think it takes more effort, more talent, more training, more technique, more of everything. So the personality actor will often rely on their own personality to get them through. And sometimes they're very charming to watch. We enjoy them often, or they wouldn't have had the success that they have. So again, chameleon changing physically and vocally often. And the personality actor always seems to play him or herself, usually hired because of a type. So you may have heard the term typecasting. You often may be cast as an actor because you fit the role in some way, and so you're sort of close to that type. Now, as actors, we all have types, and we need to know our types. If you're a 60-year-old woman, you're not going to play 20-year-old girls, most likely. You're not what we call an ingenue. An ingenue is a young actor. They're usually pretty and young and sweet, and they play lovers, and they play, sweet young things. One age out of that type, you become a different type, right? So there are all kinds of types available, and it's important for an actor to know where he or she falls, what type they are, because if you're putting yourself out there and you're saying you're an ingenue and you're not, people will laugh at you. You're not an ingenue, obviously. So if you know your type, then you know what roles to go out for, you know what to audition for, and what it's realistic for you to be cast as. So better, longer career, and people respect you more. The chameleon is hired because of his or her acting ability and that ability to disappear into the character. Theater actors are expected to be chameleons of a type, to change from role to role significantly. But there's a problem with this. Audiences may not be receptive to changes. They want a personality actor to behave as they expect he or she will. So when a personality actor tries to broaden their range, and they're known for doing comedy and suddenly they do a drama, often the audience will react negatively to that. And it may not be that the person's bad, it's just outside of the audience's expectations. Now, that's more common in film than in theater. When you become a certain type in film and get typecast, it's often very hard to break out of that. So it's much more common in TV and film to see personality actors. It's one reason sometimes TV and film actors get a bad rap or seem dumb, because some of them are simply personality actors. They rely a lot on who they already are.